What is going on, everyone? I am the Yu-Gi-Oh! Scrub, but you can call me Bailey, and we are continuing, I think, with the theme of character decks from the original anime. I'm excited for this one. I guess this would be Pegasus. There's a couple ways you could go with it. Obviously, he's the known for toon monsters, but his boss monster in the anime, you guys all know, it's Thousand Eyes Restrict. But we're not doing the normal metamorphosing goat tokens for it. We are fusing the way men do, and women, people, I don't know, with Polymerization Relinquished and Thousand Eyes Idol. I think this is just going to be funny. You know, who's going to be expecting fusion for Thousand Eyes Restrict? But it is the best fusion in the format, without a doubt. You know, it's the best card in the namesake deck of the GOAT format meta, you know, scapegoat control, you know, making Thousand Eyes Restrict incredibly powerful, especially against certain decks. But let's talk about the deck that we've put together. Obviously, we are running the fusion materials, 2 Thousand Eyes Idol, we don't need 3, because we'll talk about in a minute, and 3 Relinquished, because it is a good card in and of itself. Not nearly as good as Thousand Eyes Restrict, but it can suck up a monster. It, you know, does its fun thing. Relinquished also just, I love the look of the card. I love the art. I might even like it more than Thousand Eyes Restrict. We're running 3 Manju to help search the Relinquished, and triple Polymerization. Maybe cut this down to 2 would be a little bit better, but why not run it at 3? 2 Black Illusion Ritual, just so we can actually summon the Relinquished. And then for other fusion substitute things, we're running King of the Swamp, because it can search the Polymerization if needed, and of course act as a fusion material, whether it's a Thousand Eyes Idol and King of the Swamp becomes Relinquished, or we have Relinquished and King of the Swamp becomes the Thousand Eyes Idol. We're also running Goddess with the Third Eye, because it's a light, and we have a good amount of darks in the deck. You know, we have the Relinquished, we have Thousand Eyes Restrict, we have Breaker the Magical Warrior. You know what? Maybe I'm actually gonna do one thing. What's the fusion material? Do we run the Dark Hex Sealed Fusion, or do we run, where is it? This is a little bit bigger. We'll run 1 Versago. So we have 2 lights and 1 dark. Now you guys saw a little change on the fly. But these cards, of course, can act as a fusion material as long as the other monster is the correct one. And they just help support the Chaos, because we are running 2 Chaos monsters, 1 Chaos Sorcerer and 1 Blackluster Soldier. Other monster cards, you know, we have Breaker, Tribe, Sinister Serpent, and Sangan, and then 1 Tsukiyomi. It's another dark that I didn't mention, but it's great with the Thousand Eyes Restrict and the Relinquished, and just a good card in general, so we're running that. And then the only other real spice besides, you know, a couple traps, but the, you know, big spicy trap, it's Interdimensional Matter Transporter. I think this can be kind of cool. One, it can just protect things like a Chaos Sork if they try to snatch, steal it, or BLS, but also, if you have a Thousand Eyes Restrict and they, you know, try to Tsukiyomi it or something, Interdimensional Matter Transporter just banishes it and then returns it, and you are then able to suck up another monster. So it's kind of a way to, like, you know, sometimes you have a face down Magician of Faith, or just a face down, you know, who knows what it is, and you're kind of stuck because you can't attack, and then maybe they summon a monster, and then you Interdimensional Matter Transporter. Like, say, okay, example, you have a face down, you have a Thousand Eyes Restrict or Relinquished with a face down, you know, flip effect monster that you sucked up. They banish for a Chaos monster, thinking, okay, I'm going to banish your Thousand Eyes Restrict, and then I'll, you know, start pushing for some damage or doing whatever, just moving the game state forward. You flip Interdimensional Matter Transporter, get that Relinquished or Thousand Eyes Restrict off the field, it comes back, and now they have a face-up Chaos monster that you can just suck, and that's pretty powerful, so I think it's going to be good in this deck. It's not very often that it's going to be a powerful card, but I think in this particular deck it will be good. I also have in the side deck Level Limit Area B and Gravity Bind, because our main attackers are the Relinquished and Thousand Eyes Restrict. Of course, we have some level 4s, but I think it could be kind of cool to try to put this in and slow the game state down, and then just be attacking with a big monster. We also aren't running too many traps, so we have 3 Royal Decrees, Kaiku's for the Chaos matchup, Jowgen for Reasoning Gate Turbo, Token Thanksgiving for any weird burn decks or anything that we might run into. I don't know, another Tsukiyomi, just because it, again, is a very powerful card, maybe bringing it in against like a warrior matchup. This is what we created. Let's go ahead and fuse for some Thousand Eyes Restricts. Joining the GOAT format ladder, clicking that button for your viewing pleasure, and wishing you a fantastic day. It's been a pretty good day for us. You know, it's been a long weekend. Maybe I'll talk more about it in the future. As of right now, don't want to go too into it. You know, we'll see as time goes on what I'll say, and I guess that's very ambiguous, but I'm an ambiguous person, I suppose, right now. We do win the rock, paper, scissors. Wishing my opponent some luck and fun since they did for us. And let's take a sip of Italian sparkling mineral water. You know how it goes. Opening hand, we'll talk about 1 second. We have Manju, Sangan, Goddess with a Third Eye, Sinister Serpent, Snatch Steal, and Heavy Storm. I could open up with the Manju, but I don't think I want to do that right away. I think I'm just going to summon the Sangan. And do I pass turn, or do I set Heavy Storm? We're going to pass turn. I know pro set Heavy, it feels good when it works, but I don't think it's the best thing to do in this situation right now. And I don't want to summon the Manju. Okay, he goes ahead and Delinquent Duos us. Hitting the Sinister Serpent. And do we discard? Like, I don't want to... I'll put a Light Engrave because we have Sangan on the field. And Goddess with a Third Eye tells him the least. And we can always search another one of those fusion material monsters with the Sangan. He goes ahead and sets 2 back row, goes to end phase. Passes turn. Do we have the Dust Shoot coming? No, we do not. We'll start with a Heavy Storm. Using Scapegoats, okay. We will hit a MST and the Scapegoats. We'll summon Manju, which is a great card. Manju will search us Relinquished. And we'll just attack over 2 tokens. And now he might be able to kind of put together what we're doing here. Holding the Interdimensional Matter Transporter for now, just because these monsters I don't necessarily need to protect. Manju's gotten its +1. Sangan I kind of want hitting the graveyard. And even if he summons a Chaos monster or something, like I don't necessarily need to worry if he's going to make 1,000 Dies Restrict and try to suck it up. We get another Manju. I will just summon that right away. Why not? Get another plus. If he has Torrential, gets rid of his Scapegoat tokens. We'll get ourselves the Black Illusion Ritual, but we're not going to use it as of right now. We're just going to go ahead and attack Mirror Force, maybe? Nope. And attack directly for 1,400. Magic Cylinder, okay. I mean, not a card you see every day, but a fine card nonetheless. Maybe I could have set the Interdimensional Matter Transporter, because we can put a Relinquished on the board next turn, almost certainly. The odds that he clears our board are pretty low. And not Snatch Steal, a Swords of Revealing Light. Alright. I think we'll just pass. Maybe I change this to defense position. Makes no real difference. But as of right now, I think I'd rather just make him lose the Swords of Revealing Light. Probably a burn deck of some sort so far. If I had to guess, Magic Cylinder. We get King of the Swamp. I think I'll just pass again. I don't think I need to search for Polymerization. Yes, it deck thins, but we also can draw Polymerization and then make 1,000 Dies Restrict with King of the Swamp and Relinquished. So we'll just pass, getting him closer to a -1 with the Swords of Revealing Light going to the graveyard. We're up in card advantage. And he's just going to let that Swords go to grave. We get another Relinquished. Alright, so we will finally go ahead and set Interdimensional Matter Transporter and pass turn. Swords will go to the graveyard. And now, let's see what he does. We have Snatch Steal as a great comeback play. Not that we really are needing to come back from anything. He just sets a back row and summons a Breaker. Why not use the Interdimensional Matter Transporter? Banish a Manju. At the very least, it makes sure that we can summon Relinquished next turn, and he just attacks over the other Manju, of course. And Manju will come back from the banished zone. And we get another Interdimensional Matter Transporter. Okay, well here, I think the play to me, seems relatively obvious. I think we're going to Black Illusion Ritual, getting rid of the Sangan. We'll send to the Sangan. No chance for Prio, because Sangan activates. And we will get ourselves... what do we want here? Maybe another King of the Swamp. Because it can search us a polymerization. We will declare and suck up this breaker. 1600. And what is he? 1000. I just want to read. Okay, so Mirror Force can destroy Relinquished. It's only when it's destroyed as a result of battle I can destroy the breaker, but I still think just pushing for 3000 damage. Okay, it is the Mirror Force. No big deal. Maybe could have used Interdimensional Matter Transporter there, but I'm not worried. And we'll set the Nobleman. We haven't really seen many set monsters from him. If he wants to use a Heavy Storm on a Nobleman, he's used Breaker. We got rid of an MST. Pot of Greed. And I don't think I'm going to be losing from 6400. There's Thunder Dragon. Thank you all for commenting what decks you want me to play in the future. I know that I have a Chaos Machine XYZ like return in the future. A couple of you wanted to see that. I want to play some insects. I think that I want to try some Weevil cards. Alright, he summons BLS, so we will be taking a bunch of damage. But we can Poly with King of the Swamp and Relinquished. We can even just Snatch Steal. And the Snatch Steal might be better. The only thing is it does leave us vulnerable to Heavy Storm. Get Ring of Destruction. I think this is actually kind of cool, because I think Interdimensional Matter Transporter and Snatch Steal, I think I would banish it. Actually, no, because it would banish and go to his banished zone. That's kind of weird. I'm not sure exactly how that's going to work. I think we'll go for the fusion and go for Thousand Eyes Restrict. Sending Relinquished and King of the Swamp to the graveyard for the Thousand Eyes Restrict. Torrential Tribute. Alright. Unfortunate, but fine. We'll set Ring of Destruction and just pass turn. We still have Chaos Monsters. We still have Snatch Steal. But he's done a good job clawing his way back into this game. We have a Manju that can search us a Relinquished. We definitely have some dead draws, like a Thousand Eyes Idol is just pretty bad. He summons BLS. That's unfortunate. We will have to just ring it. But he didn't summon another monster. Main phase 2. Sets a back row. And goes to end phase. We get another Poly. We will go ahead and set the Interdimensional Matter Transporter. Don't know what he's playing. Like, hasn't summoned anything besides Breaker and BLS. And Scapegoat tokens. Oh, I also have not... I should have been getting back Sinister Serpent. I'm so stupid. I could have at least set that to protect my life points. Granted, I wouldn't be surprised if he has a knock in hand. We know 2 Thunder Dragons at the very least. Can't. I have no monsters. I'm pretty sure. I don't think it works like Rhoda, where you can fail to find, but sure. Look it up. I could be wrong. I guess this is something that we'll learn. I mean, I guess it's one of those things where, like, it just to say destroy all. Okay. Like, GOAT format is weird, where there is a bunch of, fail to find, where you can just, like, activate Rhoda or discard a Thunder Dragon, even though all of them are banished or in the graveyard, and you can just shuffle your deck and say, oh, I failed to find. So we know he has a Lightning Vortex, and we'll set the Sinister Serpent. Lightning Vortex, Vampire Lord, double Thunder Dragon. So 2 unknown cards plus the back row. What was he trying to... Soul Exchange. Alright. But he can't attack. And he just goes to end phase. Ooh. I think we'll Snatch Steal the Vampire Lord. Attack. Declare and say spell. And I think, if I understand, this is also a really weird ruling, because if he Lightning Vortexes, which I imagine he will, we'll set the Sinister Serpent, but, like, it becomes my opponent's card effect because he's activating it, but when Vampire Lord's in grave, it was his card effect. So I have no clue what's going to happen there. But I don't think it would come back. Regardless, it's his standby phase. So we're safe for at least one turn. He finally sets a monster, giving us a knock target. We get another polymerization. So we will go ahead and Nobleman a Crossout. Hitting the Sinister Serpent. Like to see that gone. And we'll set Poly and pass turn. Alright, so he didn't bring it back. We just don't have to deal with that ruling. Graceful Charity is fine. He draws 3. He has 1 Thunder Dragon in hand. And he's used Lightning Vortex and Vampire Lord. So I imagine we're going to see the Thunder Dragon go to the graveyard. So he's playing a Tribute deck, because he's running Soul Exchange, and that kind of makes sense why he wasn't putting a lot of monsters on the board. He's probably just running, like, the generic good monsters, Tribe, Breaker, and then Soul Exchange and Brain Control, and he's trying to Tribute for stuff. Discarding a Gravekeeper Spy also makes sense. Call of the Haunted. I'm fine with that. Gets BLS. That's just game, if that's all he can put on the board. Just don't have another summon. Attack. From call. He realized. No problem. It's unlikely that it would change anything, but, technically the way the cards work. He has Tribe. Oh, we were so close. Alright, so he gets game 1. I think we'll bring in decrees over like 1 interdimensional matter transporter. Torrential tribute, maybe? Torrential could be good. Maybe like mirror force. I wonder how many of the... No, we'll take out... That could just leave us pretty vulnerable, though. Kaiku, is that good? He's running chaos monsters. But I just don't know how prevalent they're gonna be. Maybe like 1 poly can come out. And 1 decree. Actually, in that, maybe... Do I like mirror force? Yeah, because he can just get rid of our Kaiku. So, I like Torrential Tribute, I think, a little more than Mirror Force, just because I like Mobius. We have Black Illusion Ritual, Torrential Tribute, Thousand Eyes Idol, Tribe Infecting Virus, and BLS. We'll set Decree and Torrential. Hope he doesn't have Heavy Storm. He has Thunder Dragon. Thinning his deck. Did we see any Trinity there? I don't think we saw any of our Trinity. And I think we were about halfway through our deck at the very least. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we saw one of the pieces. And there's the heavy. That sucks. And the Pot of Greed. Okay, so our opponent's gaining lots of pluses. But if we draw like Relinquished, I think we're alright. Or a Manju. Manju would be better. Thins our deck, puts a light on the field. We can then Black Illusion Ritual, get rid of the Thousand Eyes Idol, steal a monster. We'd have BLS live pretty soon after that. Summon Sangan. We'll take 1,000 damage, of course. I mean, we have to. And then pass his turn, we get King of the Swamp. I think we'll just go ahead. We'll wait 1 more turn before we go ahead and beat over, or maybe not even beat over, but just put the tribe on the field so the Sangan would have to attack into it. You know, 1,000 damage isn't a lot. He tributes the Sangan for Parshath. Okay, that's not good, but we're able to Tribe Infecting Virus that away, and maybe we even get a Manju, like I said before, and then we can King of the Swamp and do some stuff. You know, we'll see. The problem here is that a lot of, like, the Black Illusion Ritual, the Polymerization, these are all neg cards, so we're just going to lose a good amount of life points and card advantage every time we make our big plays. He draws a card from the Air Knight Parshath effect. I would have loved to get that first game win. We were so close, and I think we played it as well as we could have. End phase, he's going to have to discard. Discards Thunder Dragon and Sinister Serpent. Okay. There's the Relinquished. So I think we'll go ahead and start Black Illusion Ritual, summon Relinquished, discard Thousand Eyes Idol, and this becomes 1,900. 1,400. Unfortunately, it can't beat over a Spy, but we have Tribe Infecting Virus and King of the Swamp to deal with Spies. And what is good about Relinquished is other monsters can attack that I put on the field. I mean, and my opponent's monsters can attack. And if he wants to attack the Relinquished, then I can destroy the Air Knight Parshath. The battle damage becomes his burn damage as well. Snatch deals. That's a little unfortunate. Does he want a tribute? Or does he just want to... Summons BLS. Okay, lovely. And if he has a normal summonable monster, then we just lose. Or a tribute that's more than 2,100 attack. Or, yep. Alright. GG's. That felt annoying. Felt like my opponent had exactly what they need. Alright, and we'll go for another match, just getting right into it. 25 minutes, this will probably be the last match for me. Unfortunately, don't have a ton of time. I'm recording this a little bit later than I typically do, and on a weekend. You know, most of my recordings happen when I get home from work and before my girlfriend gets home, but trying to get this one recorded so I can give you guys something for tomorrow. You know how it goes. Oh, opening hand looks pretty solid. Manju, Tribe, Black Illusion Ritual, Ring, Sinister Serpent, Sangan. Do we do what we did before? I think we'll summon the Sangan, and we'll set the Ring, because why not? But I'd rather not go right ahead and lead with Manju. We can always summon it next turn. But I feel like if we led with the Manju, then we're obviously telling my opponent we have relinquished, and that doesn't feel as good. We get Snatch Steal. Alright, I think we'll do the play we were just talking about. Summon the Manju. Getting ourselves the one, the only, relinquished. We will then Black Illusion Ritual. Getting rid of Sinister Serpent. And making relinquished hit the board. Probably in defense. And we'll take the monster. Gravekeeper's Spy, like to see that gone. And then we'll attack with Sangan and Manju. Putting it in defense just because if he has Mirror Force, I don't need to worry about that. We have Sinister plus Tribe, which is obviously a great combo. The Black Illusion Ritual is significantly less neg of a card because we used the Sinister Serpent. Summon Tsukiyomi, setting the relinquished. That will go to grave. And we will ring the Tsukiyomi. Keep that relinquished alive. He sets, we get a Tsukiyomi of our own. 2 hand. And I think, obviously, we're not going to play into a Torrential Tribute. We're just going to go ahead and attack with Sangan. Attack with Manju. Sakuretsu Armor is the Manju. A-okay by me. And I think we'll go ahead and flip relinquished. Kind of forces him to deal with it. Yes, we don't get the effect. Now it's just as a 0/0. He summons a Strike Ninja. Interesting. We take 1700, and it only gets that kind of burn effect when we destroy a monster. He has 2 darks in the grave, so he does have the effect live for Strike Ninja. What do we want to do here? Think. Tsukiyomi, I could summon it and try to flip the Strike Ninja, but it's 1200, so it just doesn't really do anything, because we can't get over it anyways. I suppose it could bluff a Nobleman of Crossout, and that actually might be the best play. Because if he does choose to use the effect, we get rid of the 2 darks in his graveyard, and then next turn we can Snatch Steal or Tribe Infecting Virus it. So I think I'm going to go for that. Tsukiyomi's not really doing anything else right now. Okay, this is perfect. He does banish the Strike Ninja using its own effect. So if you don't know, Strike Ninja, most of you probably do, but yep, it banishes itself and then it will return at the end phase. So it kind of has its own built-in interdimensional matter transporter. Funny that we're using that card. Does he have Mirror Force? Nope, unless maybe a Sakuretsu Armor for the Tsukiyomi. He does not. We will then just go to end phase, bring this to hand, and now next turn we have Snatch Steal that can hit the Strike Ninja. he goes ahead and attacks over the Sangan. We will search ourselves probably... Do we go Relinquished right away? No, we'll go Manju. We get Torrential Tribute. I think we'll summon the Manju. Searching ourselves the Relinquished. Attempt to Snatch Steal the Strike Ninja. And if it's not Gravekeeper's Spy, it is a Gravekeeper's Spy, okay. We'll set Torrential Tribute and pass turn. I need to take 300. Might have a Dust Tornado. Yep, okay, so he hits end phase Torrential Tribute with Dust Tornado. That's fine, though, because we have the Tribe, like I said, to wipe these spies off the board next turn. He does gain 1,000. But we have bigger monsters. He can't even attack over one of them with a Gravekeeper Spy, so hopefully he just kind of feels comfortable here. You gained 2k. Yeah, that would have been a little bit of a cheat. Not that I'm actually, I think, things happen. My opponent, I don't actually think is trying to cheat. Alright, we get Polymerization, hard draw. So, here, I think the play is Summon Tribe. Solemn. Alright, he has the Solemn Judgment. And we could Polymerization and take one of the... Yeah, no, we're going to do that. We'll Poly. Getting rid of Relinquished and King of the Swamp because we have the Tsukiyomi here. So we'll be able to slowly but surely take these two spies. 1,200, 2,000. He will gain 1,000 life points, but he just paid 1,200. And then we'll pass our turn. We haven't seen Torrential, but I feel like he would have used it. Maybe he wouldn't have used it there. Maybe he knows we have Tsukiyomi, so he could be waiting. Goes to end phase, passes turn. We get another King of the Swamp. We'll summon Tsukiyomi. Targeting 1,000 Eyes Restrict. Setting it. Flipping it. Declaring. Trying to take his... maybe I should have changed like Manju or something to defense. Well, again, 1,200. 2,000. And unfortunately, it's gonna be a slow burn. Because he's going to gain 1,000 every turn with the Strike Ninja. But if he doesn't have monsters, then the 1,000 Restrict is pretty decent. Because I can set it and then attack with all these monsters. And slowly gain this card advantage back. He has Breaker. Breaker gets rid of the... Snatch Steal, so he's not going to be gaining life points anymore, and he gets Strike Ninja, but it doesn't have the ability to do anything. Oh, but if we go ahead and summon Tsukiyomi, then he's going to have 2 in the graveyard. I still think it's worth it. Declare, target, set, flip, declare, and we'll a target. He's of course going to banish. That's fine. And yep, just go to end phase so he gets it back. A-okay. Another sip of sparkling Italian mineral water. I've been in a cut for a while now. A couple of months. Slightly off and on. And let me tell you, the mineral water, like sparkling stuff, really helps. Just kind of keeps you a little more full. We'll take 1,400 from our own 1,000 Eyes Restricted he just stole. He sets a monster and passes turn. We'll gain 1,000 in standby. And then go ahead and use the Graceful Charity that we just drew. Getting Premature Burial, Heavy Storm, Polymerization, discarding, of course, Sinister Serpent, and probably the Polymerization because we can get one with the King of the Swamp. And then we're just going to go ahead and activate Heavy Storm, of course. So he's playing the return. We'll take Strike Ninja. What is his stats? 17, 12. Attack over the Breaker. And then, of course, the next step is summon the Manju, searching, relinquished, because that can go better with King of the Swamp than Black Illusion Ritual, and just passing our turn. He has Book of Moon to set the 1,000 Eyes, flipping a Dekoichi, 2 darks, no lights engraved, so if he has a Chaos Monster, it's not live. We have Sinister Serpent. Did we forget to get that back last turn? We have Chaos Monsters. We have Premature Burial. He crashes with the Manju, and then Nobleman across outs 1,000 Eyes Restrict. If he has no back row, okay, so we just win. Yeah, we just win. We banish a light and a dark, even though I said those backwards. Summon BLS and just attack for game. Alrighty. I like Decrees. Interdimensional Matter Transporter doesn't seem as good. Torrential doesn't seem as good. Nobleman seems fine. I kind of want to keep those traps in. Maybe we'll take out 1 Poly. Is Tsukiyomi pretty good over something? Well, no chance to put it in now. Opening hand looks pretty good. Pot of Greed, Decree, Manju, Versago the Destroyer, and King of the Swamp. And we get Poly. Well, unfortunately, he's going to be taking the Manju that we probably were going to summon. But we'll be able to Pot of Greed and get back this card. Not necessarily this card, but a card. He also does get to see our Royal Decree, which is a little unfortunate. Give it one more shuffle. Activate the Pot of Greed. Does he Judgment? Nope. We get Nobleman, a Crossout, and a Relinquished. Look at that. We'll start with Nobleman, a Crossout. Hitting a Mystic Tomato. Okay. And then I suppose we'll set Decree. And we will activate King of the Swamp to get ourselves another, where is it, Polymerization. Because we have the cards that can make a Thousand Eyes Restrict. And we have a good amount of fusion substitutes. You know, all the 2 other King of the Swamps, the 2 Goddess of the Third Eye. We get a Manju. I like to see that. We will summon Manju. Declare. And what do we want to get? I think Black Illusion Ritual slightly better. No, we'll go Relinquished, because we have the way to make it, and I'd rather have another Relinquished in hand. We'll attack. He knows about the set Royal Decree, so if he wants to flip anything, we can just negate it. He sets a monster. Sets a back row, passes turn. We get another Decree. I think we go ahead and go for it now. Well, hey, it's me from the future, and unfortunately I finished that match and then look over at OBS and saw that I had insufficient space to keep recording, so I deleted a bunch of my old videos, and we've gotten back in the replay to where we are, and, you know, it's a replay, so we'll actually learn a little bit of something. You know, I'm gonna play with my opponent's hand visible rather than not, because obviously I've played this match, and we'll see how it all plays out, but this is exactly where it cut off, so apologies for the kind of abrupt ending, but we're back, and we're gonna watch the rest of the match, because we actually got the win. Surprise, surprise, you know, maybe I am spoiling it for you, but it was good enough. So we end up making the Thousand Eyes Restrict and taking, or trying to take, what was a face-down unknown Gravekeeper's Spy. And he does some interesting plays here. He flips the Spy. Of course, he then just attacks over the Thousand Eyes Restrict. And I'm thinking in this position, like, okay, you know, you have a Spy, but I can just attack over it next turn with Manju. And he ends up creature swapping, so not great, because now I'm thinking, alright, I can just change the Spy to defense position and wall him out a little bit. Set Ring of Destruction that I draw for turn, have another Royal Decree, and yep, that was the Decree already set. So unfortunately, you know, not terrible, because the Decree isn't face up, but we keep drawing these traps that, you know, would like to not draw traps in this position. And he ends up snatch stealing his own Gravekeeper's Spy and attacking, and I decide I don't want to take all this damage, so I ring my own ring my own Manju, because it also puts a light in the graveyard that I didn't have yet, so it makes Chaos Monsters live if I was to draw those. He takes his 1400, and then we just eat the rest of this damage, of course, because we have to. We only have a Royal Decree set. So we end up taking 3400 from this turn. I do catch, you'll see here. I tell him on field, when I say on field, I targeted the Snatch, Steal, and Grave, because, yep, he Snatch stole the Gravekeeper's Spy, not creature swapped it. Just something to, you know, make sure we play in, because I gain 1,000 life points. He puts a token just to mark that that was the Spy. We drew a Mirror Force, and we set the other Decree. At this point, he has a couple of back row. If he draws Heavy Storm, he'd give me back a Spy, which, of course, he could ram into. But, you know, it's a big minus for him as well, so I feel more comfortable setting the second Royal Decree. Also, if he had a Breaker or a Dust Tornado, it keeps the Mirror Force protected. And we do, of course, Mirror Force here, because that would be a little, not quite game, but too much damage. Giving me a search with the Sangan. He summons Strike Ninja with, I think, 3 Darks Engrave. Yep, 3 Darks Engrave. And I think, if I recall, do we draw Snatch Steal? Yep, we draw Snatch Steal here. I just decided to pass because, of course, I mean, my only play literally possible is, I mean, I suppose I can flip Royal Decree, but, like, what's that do? I could try to Snatch Steal, but he can just banish the Strike Ninja, and then I just go -1 for nothing. He summons Breaker. Still not quite game. He pops one of the Decrees and tries to push for a bunch of damage. And then he flips Ring here, targeting his own Breaker. I go Royal Decree, and then he chains Return, and because the chains resolve backwards, Return before Decree will resolve, getting the Mystic Tomato. So I know it's just game here. He gets Tomato and just attacks, and so go to game 3. Wonder how this is going to turn out. Not that I've already told you how it goes, but I mean, it was fun. You know, it was a good match, I think. We have opening hand here, Decree, Pot of Greed, Nobleman, Breaker, King of the Swamp, Chaos Sorcerer, so any hand with a Pot of Greed is good, and then going first, Royal Decree could be pretty powerful. He has Demok, Spy, Dekoichi, Sakuretsu Armor, Dust Tornado. I was thinking when I was siding of taking out one of the Nobleman of Crossouts because knowing he's playing Return, it just doesn't feel as powerful, given the fact that, I'm fueling his return from the different dimensions. But with Royal Decrees, I'm like, you know what, it's good. And the spies can be pretty annoying to get over. Yes, we have Relinquished, we have Thousand Eyes Restrict. Relinquished actually is better, I think, when you're taking a face-down monster, because you can continue to pressure by attacking with your other monsters. Thousand Eyes Restrict sometimes can, as you all know, you take a face-down monster, it just sits at 0/0, and now you're kind of trapping yourself because you can't attack with anything else. But we pot agreed, drawing, I think, what was it? Relinquished and another Decree, I think. We summon the Breaker. I didn't set Decree because I was a little afraid of Snatch Steal. I didn't want to set Decree and then have him just take the Breaker and pop my Decree for nothing. So we go ahead and just summon the Breaker turn 1. He sets the Dekoichi, and it actually is good. I probably here, if I were him, knowing you have Sakuretsu armor as well as the Mirror Force that he drew for turn, I probably would have set the Sakuretsu. Maybe not the Dust, hard to say. Definitely the Sakuretsu, because yeah, of course you're, saying pop it with the Breaker, like go right ahead. But then you can freely set your Mirror Force the turn after, and then at least feel a little more comfortable. And I think you'll see that ends up biting him in the butt. We draw Manju for turn, which, fantastic. Manju's just a free summon, gets a plus. We first actually go ahead and Nobleman across out the face down to Koichi. He banishes them all. Wasn't hoping for Koichi, I was hoping for Spy, but of course I'll take it, and we're then able to search the Black Illusion Ritual from the Manju summon, simply because we already have the Relinquished. And, you could argue maybe King of the Swamp plus another Relinquished, it makes the poly draws a little more live. Just because if we drew another King of the Swamp or a Polymerization, we'd have 2 Relinquished, and then we can, get rid of the King of the Swamp and the Relinquished and have another one in hand. But, we already have one piece. Why not go for the second piece of the Ritual Summon? So that's what I decided to do. We attack for, what is this? I think, just under, 3,300? Yep. My math sometimes, not mathin' today. He draws Ring of Destruction, so a lot of traps, which, of course, Royal Decree would have eaten alive, but he doesn't choose to set anything. And this is actually the final turn of the game, because we draw another Manju of 10,000 hands. We just go right ahead, search the Relinquished, and the moment he sees Black Illusion Ritual, he knows, because this is actually exact game. 28 from the Manjus plus 19 is 47. So he just goes ahead and scoops up the duel. But, I think it was pretty fun. We were able to fusion summon the Thousand Eyes Restrict a couple of times, at least once, if not twice. Relinquish, is it a great deck? No. Probably could cut the Thousand Eyes Idols, just because I think with the amount you can search Relinquished, it is pretty good. Maybe even go to, one Black Illusion Ritual, just because, it's good, but it's not always the best, and if you're only running the Relinquished, so obviously if you're going to be polying them into the Thousand Eyes Restrict, it's not as powerful. Frankly, don't run this deck, though. Polying into Thousand Eyes Restrict is not a thing. It is a thing, but it's not a thing in the meta because it's just worse than using Metamorphosis on a level 1. There's plenty of better level 1 Sinister Serpent, Scapegoat tokens, Magician of Faith, it's just significantly better. It's less minus than using Poly, and you don't have to run the bad cards like King of the Swamp and the Goddess of the Third Eye, or with the Third Eye, and what is it, Versago the Destroyer, or whatever it is, that, the dark one. But, I think it was a fun match, and we ended up getting the win, so of course, felt good. Anytime I can get a win with a janky deck feels pretty good. But thank you all for watching. Apologies again for that abrupt ending and having to cut to a replay, but I'm the Yu-Gi-Oh! Scrub, and goodbye.